So, yeah, so what we'll do now is that we will just go through the basic structure of the diploma programs, and then we will take each of the postgraduate diploma program on its own, where we would be discussing the course content in more detail. Okay, just bear with me when I'm just sharing the screen. So today we're here today to talk about the three postgraduate diploma programs in education. So just a bit of a background on the university. So the university was established in 2011 under the Azim Premji University Act in Bengaluru, and in 2023 at Bhopal. The university is a fully philanthropic and not-for-profit entity, and we have a clear social purpose, and it is education for social change. And we strongly believe that we need to contribute to the realization of a just, equitable, humane, and sustainable society. So the three programs which we will be talking about is the PG Diploma programs in education. They are in the field of early childhood education, inclusive education, and teaching children with learning disabilities. So all the three programs, the way it is structured is similar. Before we even get into the program, we just wanted to let you know the basic details about of the program. Why should you join our program? Because all the programs are led by experts in their specific industry and practitioners, and they bring in their knowledge, which helps bridge the theory with the practical application. And also we go into detail with relevant theories, research-based teaching methods and practices, and also hands-on knowledge, because most of our faculty are also practitioners, and which helps in understanding the nature and needs of the children with learning disabilities, with other learning difficulties, other different learning needs, and also in the early childhood education space. All the three programs is aligned to the credit structure, which is being defined by the National Credit Framework by UGC, and this was issued in April 2023. All the programs are structured in a way that it is flexible. It is a mix of both online and on-campus learning component, where we have 11 weeks of online classes and 1 week of the on-campus component. So the blended approach with the online lectures and with the on-campus engagement helps you to make the learning more meaningful. And also, once you finish the postgraduate diploma education program, you will be able to become the alumni of the Azim Premji University, which makes you a member of the larger community with similar thinking. So the program structure, like I said, all the three programs are similarly structured. So each of the program contains 4 certificate programs, and each of the certificate program runs for 12 weeks. Each of the certificate program is for 10 credits. Therefore, the whole postgraduate diploma program is for 40 credits. The diploma program runs for a course of 1 year. And like I said, it is a blended mode with both online and on-campus interaction. You also have the flexibility of taking a standalone certificate program, or you can enroll in the whole postgraduate diploma program. Each of the certificate program has a 1 week on-campus engagement. So there are 4 such 1 week of on-campus engagements. The on-campus engagement will be held at our Bengaluru campus of the university. Only after you complete all the 4 certificate programs under the postgraduate diploma program will you be awarded the postgraduate diploma program certification. You also have the flexibility of completing the whole diploma program in a cycle of 2 years. So you will be given the flexibility of completing the whole program, that is the core certificate, over the course of 2 years. I'll just explain it a bit more. So in case in one cycle of the diploma program, you are not able to complete that particular certificate program, you have the flexibility to come in the next cycle and complete that particular certificate program. Therefore, in a period of 2 years, you get a chance of appearing for the certificate program 2 times. So we have that flexibility that, say, in case of personal issues or of any other reasons, you miss one certificate program in 1 year, you can come back the next year, complete that certificate program, and still be entitled to receiving the whole postgraduate diploma program certification. The pedagogy, we have a combination of online teaching and face-to-face, which we call our on-campus engagement. Now, the online teaching is through our learning management system called Moodle, and it is conducted through live lectures, wherein a lot of group work is entered, workshops are done, presentations made. We also provide a lot of readings. We do discussion forums in the class, and audiovisual material is provided, and the assessment which is carried out is more formative in nature. So we do not have any exam at the end of each certificate program, but we have assessments throughout the certificate programs. The face-to-face component is a very rich space which provides opportunities for sharing, learning through intensive group work and interaction with experts and practitioners. So what happens in this 1 week, which is basically a 5-day program, is that all the participants come to the campus. So in this case, you are able to meet your other peer members, you're able to learn from their experiences. We also bring in a lot of experts. We do a lot of hands-on activities. You do field visits where you are able to see the theory in practice. And so it's quite an enriching experience. Like I mentioned, it's a 5-day program. So it takes place from Monday to Friday, and it's a full day program. So it's usually between 8:30 to 5:30 on all the 5 days on Monday to Friday. The face-to-face is held in Bengaluru. Now, if you are enrolling for only one certificate program, then this on-campus element becomes mandatory. So if you do not come in person for the on-campus element of the program, then you will not be eligible for the certification. But in case you are enrolling for the whole diploma program, then you have the flexibility to attend minimum of 2 of these on-campus sessions. And for the sessions which you don't attend, you will be provided with a project which you will need to complete. So there will be 4 such on-campus sessions for each of the 4 certificate programs. And people who are doing the whole diploma program will have the flexibility to attend minimum 2 of these sessions. The admission process, like we said, there are 4 certificate programs, but you would have the flexibility to attend the diploma program through any of these certificate programs. So you do not have to wait for a year to get admitted into this program. You can get admitted into any of the certificate programs, be enrolled in this diploma program for a year, complete it, and be eligible for the certification. All the admissions for entry into the diploma program is open 2 months prior to the commencement of each of the certificate program. The admission process is quite simple. Registrations, once the registrations are open in our website, you need to fill in an online application which provides, wherein you have to provide details of your education, work experience, and also a statement of purpose. And once you complete the registration, we will be inviting you for a panel interview, and which will be conducted in an online mode. The fees and financial assistance for the program. If you're enrolling for the whole PG Diploma program, the course fees is 60,000, which includes GST. Usually the fees is payable in in half yearly installments. So you pay 50% at the beginning of the course when you're joining, and the rest 50% at the beginning of the third certificate program. If you are enrolling for only one certificate program, then the course fees is 20,000. Now, for the on-campus sessions, we do provide accommodation at the university. Fees of rupees 3,500 is charged for the week of the face-to-face when you come and choose to stay at our campus. But this would be only applicable if you seek accommodation at the university. So if you are looking to say, if you are based in Bangalore and if you are traveling every day to our campus, or if you're going to stay with family and friends, you do not need to pay this fees. If you're staying at the university campus, any expense with respect to food or travel will be borne by the participant. We do offer scholarship to deserving candidates on the base of the income. And these scholarships are as part of partial waivers to the fee component. So it would be only for the fees, but any other additional expense with respect to stay, food, and travel will have to be borne by the participants. And this is again provided at the discretion of the university. And at once selected, the admissions team will get in touch with you for documentary proof, and they would be taking it further. So this was the program structure, the way we are structured, how we conduct our programs. This is common for all the three postgraduate diploma programs. All the three programs have 4 certificates each. We have courses under it, and all of them have the face-to-face component. So the structure remains the same. The pedagogy, the teaching methodologies for the programs remain the same. What we'll do now is we will now go through each of the individual programs. We will go through early childhood education first, then inclusive education, then the program on teaching children with learning disabilities. And once we complete that, we will open the forum for question and answers. Okay. So Neha has joined. Hi, Neha.
Hi.
Yeah. So Neha, would you want me to share the screen?
Yes.
Or will you? Yeah.
No, so that.
Are you able to see the screen, Neha?
Yes, I'm able to see the screen. What about others? Is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm Neha Mittal and I teach diploma in EC. I teach a few courses in the early childhood education diploma. So I'll just give you an overview of, we have 4 certificate programs, and under 4 certificate programs, under each certificate program, we have 2 courses, right? So I'll give you an overview of what each of these certificate programs entails. How do we go about, learning and understanding different concepts, so that, it's the entire program is pretty holistic in nature, right? So in the certificate program, we begin by discussing about the significance of early years, various themes and issues in early childhood education, such as diversity, inclusion, understanding early childhood education from the perspective of science, child rights, child development, and economic perspective. Right. So we also discuss theories and theoretical ideas that have so far informed development and learning processes for children in the age group of 3 to 8 years. Right. And the certificate program 1 also provides an overview of the domains of development and the developmental characteristics of children in different domains. So we know that, children develop holistically, and there are 5 domains of development that early childhood education caters to, right? Consists of, right? Yeah. So that is about certificate program 1. The certificate program 2, in the certificate program 2, we talk about the aims, goals, objectives, and principles of curriculum development and pedagogy. So we've been discussing about, how should a pedagogy in an early classroom be. We talk about those 21st century skills like critical thinking, curiosity, so on and so forth. So how does this curriculum planning and the pedagogy that we use in the early years inform experiences that we develop for young children, right? So it's again from certificate program 1 to certificate program 2, when we go, we also discuss and understand these domains of development in depth, and how these principles that you learn, that you understand, that you study also are implied to develop experiences for children in a continuum. We are looking at age group of 3 to 8 years, and we also look at how we plan experiences domain wise and also integrate it, right? CP3, we look at how do we identify at-risk children, and we have children with special needs in the early years classroom. So how do we sort of identify them, plan early intervention for them, so that our classes are inclusive, right? So we also touch upon the universal design learning in some way, and also see that how we can plan experiences for children that cater to the needs of every child in the classroom, right? Then in CP4, we focus on the principle and processes of planning developmentally and culturally appropriate early childhood programs, right? By programs, we mean that a school can follow an approach like Montessori. So they follow a Montessori program. So what are the principles, and how do we plan developmentally appropriate and culturally appropriate practices, so that the program is measured, the quality of the program is measured. What are the standards that's required to measure the quality of a program? We also discuss the stages of teacher professional development and the challenges of an EC teacher, and also how an in-service and pre-service professional development programs can be designed for teacher professional development. So we sort of cover a range of aspects, so that we give you a holistic view of what this early childhood education as a domain look like, and what are the different aspects that we need to consider while we work with young children. Right. So in addition, we also have a project-based course, which encompasses all the concepts that we will be discussing, that we will be learning about. So you will be given a project which will have aspects related to both the courses, and you will be working on it. So it is about for about 2 credits. So yeah, I'm happy. So that's all, and I'm happy to answer if there are any questions related to what we've discussed.
Yeah. Thank you, Neha. What we'll do is we will hold on to the questions now. We will go through all the 3 courses, and then we can take the questions. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Sorry, Madhu, do you want me to share the screen?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I hope I'm audible. My name is Madhusudan, and I teach inclusive education, the diploma in inclusive education, as well as the master's in education at the university. So to briefly talk about the diploma itself, it is very much for working professionals, working teachers who may face dilemmas of how to reach all their children in the classroom. These maybe children with disabilities. These may be children with different kinds of difficulties. And it is for educators who are thinking about making their schools and classroom practices more inclusive, such that they can reach all children in the classroom. Um, it's also something that school administrators, such as principals, might find useful in the way of with the National Education Policy and the Right to Education Act, as well as the Right to Disabilities Act, all encourage schools to embrace inclusive education by way of including children with disabilities, children who are marginalized, and the NEP in that sense also promotes the same. So in response to that, this particular diploma is positioned. What is unique about this diploma is that it draws from perspectives of organizations who work in the field of inclusion. One is Umeed Child Development Center based in Mumbai, and they've worked extensively. They continue to work extensively in the field of inclusive education and have several years of experience working with schools, promoting inclusive education, as well as running a center which looks at aiding children who have disabilities and helping them better uh, be included in their own school settings. The program embraces a definition of inclusion which is fairly open-ended. So inclusive education is seen as a process of building the capacity of education rather than defining inclusive education in any specific ways. Um, so such that each school, depending on where they are, each teacher, depending on where they are in their growth, can define inclusion in a manner of a logical development. So um, this is the overview of the program. Now, I would like to take you through some of the specifics of the program. Much like how Sudha and Neha described it, this program as well is split into 4 distinct certificate programs which make up the postgraduate diploma. In the first certificate, we will introduce the concept of inclusive education. The concept of inclusive education may sometimes be associated with different concepts and can lead to confusion. And therefore, the introduction of inclusive education, where it comes from, its history, and what is the relevance of inclusive education in 2024, for instance, is discussed, and along with we get into the current policy and what that would mean to a unit of a school, and how a school might interpret these policies and implement inclusive education in their own setting. That is discussed. And along with, there is also the project for each certificate. And in this particular certificate, the project will go into looking at diversity closely, and how we think about diversity, what diversity exists in your particular setting, and how to respond to that. But this project, each project is fairly independent study mode, in the sense that you as a practitioner have the opportunity to build on a project that will help in developing inclusion in your own setting. It's not prescriptive, therefore it is fairly open-ended. So in the second certificate, we get into learning more about what this diversity means, how we might locate that diversity, how we might identify that diversity within our own spaces, and respond to it in our own support systems, our practices, and we get into an understanding of some of the common disabilities that we might find in our classrooms, and what those disabilities are and how we might respond to it and what support systems help. That is what we get into in the second certificate. The third certificate uh, builds on top of the second one in a way of trying to respond to the diversity through an inclusive pedagogy where we talk about how to teach in such a manner that it reaches all children. Here we talk about various ideas, pedagogical ideas of inclusive education, such as differentiated instruction, universal design for learning, and we also get into how we might plan towards inclusion of children with disabilities through what we might call individualized education plans. And this happens also through various school visits during the face-to-face component, where you will gain exposure to different kinds of schools and learn about their practices. In the last certificate, which is setting up inclusive practices, is where we consolidate in a way of if you are for instance doing these certificates uh, in a sequential manner, but even otherwise it is something where we discuss how what are the processes, what are the systems that need to be in place such that inclusive education can be encouraged in a school setting. What are the ways in which teachers need to develop? What are growth trajectories that can be developed for teachers? How do you become resourceful, or how do you draw on resources around your own school or your community in such a manner that it encourages inclusion and it becomes something which is more of a partnership uh, between various stakeholders. So largely, these are the four certificates, and each of them, I didn't go through the project of each certificate, but like I said, each of the projects within each certificate is fairly self-directed. You'll work in smaller groups, and you'll have the opportunity to build on your own portfolio of sorts of how to work towards your own project of inclusion in your own setting. So this is largely how the diploma in inclusive education, the postgraduate diploma in inclusive education is structured. I'll pass it on to Sudha to talk about the learning disability diploma.
Yeah, thank you, Madhu. And like how Neha and Madhu said, though we have all the four certificate programs and they are lined up, but the way each of these certificate programs are structured is that you can enter into any of these, so that it is not a prerequisite for you to complete the previous one. It's just that for us, it's a cycle, so we put it like that and we mention it first, second, third, fourth. But the previous certificate is not a prerequisite for you to do the current one. So you can enter into, say, the third certificate and then complete your diploma program by completing the second certificate. Yeah. So I'll take you through the details of the, just a minute, the PG Diploma program, which is basically teaching children with learning disabilities. So this program is basically looking at the different kinds of learning disabilities and how you can work with these children in the classroom setup. So it is not more looking at it from a special education side, but looking at how these children can be included in the classroom and how is it that we can work with these children in the regular schools. So the participants may be school teachers, maybe special educators, counselors, and school heads who are, and practicing regular teachers and who can come into this and who are working in the private and public school system in India. We also have participants who are working with various NGOs, with community service organizations who are working in the field of education and who are working with teachers and students and children who need special attention for the learning disabilities. And so this diploma is designed to understand learning disabilities as a condition and develop skills for identification, assessment, and application of evidence-based teaching and learning methodology. So like in the previous two diploma programs, this diploma program also has 4 certificate program. The first certificate program is learning disabilities in the classroom. So this certificate program has 3 courses, and then you also have the project-based course. So the 3 courses are overview of learning, which basically gives you details of how the brain functions and how is the brain primed to learn. It makes the teachers understand the developmental shifts that children present as learners. And it also looks at the 3 R's, which is basically reading, numeracy, and writings. And it looks at the stages and the sub-processes which are involved in the acquisition of these skills. The second one is Introduction to Learning Disabilities. So it will provide the participants the concept of different learning difficulties and SLDs, and they would be able to provide the nature, classification, and the manifestation of the children across the school span. It will also help the participants understand the neurobiological underpinning and cognitive correlate of the learning disabilities. The third one is LD and associated conditions. So children with learning disabilities also sometimes manifest some associated conditions in the line of ADHD, socio-emotional problems like depression and anxiety, and we would be able to understand how to work with these. The second certificate program is identification and assessment. So here we have 3 courses. One is growth and development. The second course is screening, identification, and assessment of learning disability. And the third one is observing and nurturing the whole child. Here we look at the children as a whole. And basically what we try to do in this course is that we try to understand the patterns of development in the various domains like physical, socio-emotional, and cognitive. And also, we also look at the environmental and the socio-cultural context that impacts the child's development. In the second course for screening, identification, and assessment, this is more per se from a teacher in the classroom. So we do not delve into assessment, which is a more psychological assessment, but we delve into how the teachers in the classroom will be able to identify children who require special attention, who have special needs, and who manifest some kind of the learning disabilities in the class. We also try to see how important screening and identification is, and how important early identification is, because once identified, it gives better opportunities for children to adapt and reach their full potential in the academic and non-academic spaces. The third certificate program, learning disabilities, teaching methods and strategies. Here we talk about the 3 courses are the intervention of children with learning disabilities, instructional strategies in the curricular area for children with learning disabilities, and intervention where we look at the socio-emotional and the behavioral issues of the children. Now, in this particular certificate program, we look at how we can work with these children in the classroom. Here we would look at intervention strategies which would help the children with the process of learning. We would be looking at instructional strategies in the area of reading, writing, maths. Also, we would be also looking at theories and strategies which will help class teachers to work children and to deal with emotional and behavioral issues in the classroom. The fourth certificate program here is inclusive education for children with learning disabilities. Here we look at inclusive education from the lens of learning disability. So we would have an introduction on what inclusive education is, the intersectionality, and then we would also be looking at the different frameworks which can be adopted to create your classroom space and make it more inclusive. We would be looking at universal design for learning, differentiated instructions, and response to intervention. We also look at how you can collaborate with different stakeholders in a child's life, like the parents, the community, the management, and how to support these children and to create an inclusive space which would enhance their learning. And again, all these four certificates will have a project-based course. And like Madhu said, this would be more of an independent study, but yes, you would be mentored by the faculty at each step. And the project-based course could be anywhere between a research, a literature analysis, a field visit, a field work which you might have to do. So again, it would enhance and it would be looking at how you would be able to develop your understanding on children having learning disabilities. So in case you have any questions, you can email us, which is the admissions office email ID, and you can also contact us on this mobile number, and we will be able to provide you with further information. You could note down, and I'll also put it in the chat so that you will be able to make a note of it. Yeah. So these were the three programs and these were the details of the program. So if any one of you has any questions regarding the structure, how the program is transacted, or if you have any question in particular to a specific program, you can please raise your hand and we are open to taking questions. If you have questions, you could also put it in the chat and we can pick it up from there. Yes, Ankita?
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I have a question around the certificates. Are they, so I know first certificates timeline is over. So the first certificate, so I'm interested in early childhood education. So the first certificate is over and I'll be entering now in a certificate two. So are these certificates connected in any way? Because if I see the name of it, it will impact the first certificate information will impact the second one. So how do I go about it? I really want to join this year itself. I don't want to wait for 1 year. So I just wanted to understand how does that look like then?
Neha, would you answer or yeah?
So, as Sudha mentioned, Ankita, there's no prerequisite for any of the certificate programs. So these are designed in such a way that they are independent of each other. So when you look at the certificate program too, it talks about curriculum and pedagogy in different domains of development, right? So the first certificate program just gives you an overview of the domains of development, but the in-depth understanding happens at the certificate program too. So in that way, and few themes that we discuss, themes like diversity, themes like inclusion. So these are again covered in CP2. So I don't see that there'll be a problem or there is a mandatory prerequisite per se. So I think these are independent. So it's okay. And we have had participants join us in CP2, CP4, CP1, and they fared really well. So yeah.
Got it. And one more doubt. So suppose I join for a certificate program for now, for example, certificate two. But by end of it, I realize I want to do diploma. So I join for another three certificate. But the cost is such that for like the whole diploma, it's 60,000. So per certificate, it's 20, right? And there are total 4 certificates. Then how are we going to manage that cost?
I'll take that. So, Sharmisha, do you want to answer that?
Go ahead, Sudha.
Yeah. So what we do is, if you have joined initially for the certificate program, we will take the fees for that certificate program. Like you rightly said, we'll take 20,000. But if you later on convert your certificate program into the diploma program, then for the rest of the diploma program, there will be a pro rata cost. But the first certificate will be taken as a standalone certificate program.
Got it. So for rest of it, then we'll take the left
A
one, which is
pro.
like 40,000.
No, it will be for the 3 certificates. If you look at a pro rata one, it comes
Okay.
to 45,000 for the
Understood.
3 certificates.
Okay, it comes for 45,000.
Yes.
That's my.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So there are a few questions on
ma'am?
the chat.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes,
I'm
please.
Kavita.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we join in the certificate program, and is it mandatory? And then I convert it into a diploma program after finishing one certificate. Should I attend all the in-person sessions? That 1 week.
Yeah, I'll take that. So once you convert into the diploma program, then you have the flexibility of attending minimum of the 2 on-campus session. But if you have enrolled for a standalone certificate program, then you will have to come. So what would happen is, say for the first certificate, your on-campus element becomes compulsory, but say later on you change it to the diploma program, then we will apply the minimum 2 criteria.
Thank you.
Somebody had asked, is there an age restriction? No, there isn't any age restriction to apply on this program, but we would want a minimum of 2 years of work, a relevant work experience, that you should have at least worked in the field of education. And also somebody had asked that could we pick and choose from different diploma programs? So what you could do is that we do not, as a diploma program, if you want to do one whole diploma program, you will not be able to pick and choose. But if you're looking to do standalone certificate programs from diploma program, from the different 3 diploma programs, you can do that. But that's an individual but we will not be able to provide you a diploma certification at the end of it, because for us, each of these postgraduate diploma program in the space of early childhood education, inclusive education, and teaching children with learning disabilities are 3 separate programs. But if you feel that there is something which interests particular certificates, you can choose that. That's an individual choice. In the 3,500 for accommodation, food is not included. It would be only for the accommodation. Yeah. Okay, so Tejaswini, I'll just correct me if I've understood your question correct. You said 2 years experience is mandatory. 1 year experience should join this diploma program. We would require a 2-year experience. That is a mandatory element for someone joining the program. The minimum qualification to join the diploma program is that if you want the postgraduate diploma program certificate, then you will need to be a graduate. But in case you do not have your graduation, and if you have some other diploma program, say a Montessori training or something, but you have the required experience, you can still join the program, but you will get only a diploma certificate at the completion of the 1-year program. You will not get the postgraduate diploma certification. Rick, I want to be an early childhood intervention teacher. So should I choose PGD in inclusive education or PGD in LD? I have a Montessori 3 to 6 training background and like to work with children with ASD, ADHD, and SLD. Madhu, you would like to take that question from Rekha?
Sure.
Or Neha? Because about, you could just take it a bit more in detail about the inclusive education part. Yeah.
Yeah, so the inclusive education course is not specific to early childhood in particular, though we don't see it belonging to any particular age group. So therefore, there's an eclectic group of participants who come from early childhood and otherwise. Um, I think it's a good question. I think you could do either. You will find that you will, in your early childhood, if you do join the early childhood group, you will find many peers who work in early childhood, and therefore the learning there might be more wide. But since your interest is in inclusive education within the early years, the certificate 3, I believe, from the ECE has does focus on that in particular. Uh, However, if you are interested in the holistic inclusion of children, then I would encourage you to think about inclusive education. So it is really, I think you'll have to go through in more detail with the certificate. We unfortunately don't have a whole lot of time to get into it. And perhaps we can have a separate discussion on that. I've made my answer clear, but I hope if you want to probe on that, I'm happy to respond further.
Rekha, do you want to take it further? Do you want to ask any additional questions? Rekha Rao?
Yeah, so no, that was my doubt because I like to work with children in the 3 to 6 background, and your diploma is also for 3 to 8. And I currently run a reading intervention program with my Montessori background. So, but I'd really like to work in a bigger school setting. So I currently volunteer in an ICSE school, and I work with children in LKG and UKG. So I do sit and observe the child and then provide feedback. And of course, there are special educators, but the child is removed from the classroom and sent to the resource room, and then the child comes back. But the challenge is in the classroom. You spend half a day, and UKG you spend a full day. So you have children with autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, and the numbers are huge. There are 45 to 50 children and 2 teachers. So there's a struggle. But I would like to really be in the classroom and be like a classroom learning support teacher. So I really like all the courses. Of course, I don't need the first diploma because I have my Montessori teacher training certificate for that. But I'm interested. So I just need to decide if it's the second one or the third one.
I think in that case, see, the school has inclusion is not just about what you do in the classroom, but how does the school respond to children holistically. So I think it may be interesting for you to, since you have relevant training in early childhood, then
yes,
I think the answer might be more towards studying inclusive education, because these very children will also graduate from smaller grades, and it is their holistic development, and
correct.
from the time they join the school till the time they leave the school. So it's
Okay.
the responsibility is much wider.
Okay, so you would suggest inclusive education, is it? That was my only confusion, because I really like to
Yeah.
learn that assessment, evaluation. I don't have a background in that. So that is my interest. If I identify, if a teacher tells me like, look, this child is slow in learning, what is it exactly? I need to know that, right? So I observe, but then there needs to be certain parameter that we can, in order to make an IEP for the child, which mostly special ed teachers do. But the special ed department has only 4 for the entire school till 12th grade. And there are 5 sections per grade. So it's huge.
Yeah, see, like you said, it has to do with systems and processes within the school. And therefore, in that light, we would deal with that more in inclusive education for sure.
Okay.
But I may be wrong. I'll leave Neha to expand.
No problem. Yeah, I know it's a very difficult question. Sorry, but I'm still trying to figure out because I'm interested in one of the 2
Sure.
courses.
What we could do is, Rekha, that can you just drop in a mail? What we will also, what you can do is that we will also take this discussion in detail and say what would be the best one looking at your experience, and we can get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
so
Yes,
just-
I'll do that right away. Thank you.
Drop in a mail to say that, where you come from, what space, what are you working with, because
Right.
though you said that you do have a diploma in, you have your Montessori training in early childhood education, but in the ECE course, we look at different methods, and, we also look at how to include these children in the classroom as a whole and not looking at one particular method.
Right.
So, so they would be able to give you more in depth. So we can also, connect you with all the faculties, we can all, discuss and then get back to you, because Neha is one of the faculty. So even we could, check with all the faculties and then get back to you to say that which one was the most suitable one for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hema, you have some question?
Yeah. So I would like to know the tentative dates for the interviews and the commencement of courses. When is it likely?
Sure. So for the ECE and for the Inclusive Education PG Diploma program, the classes will start in the first week of May. For the program in Teaching Children with Learning Disability, it will start in the week of 16th of May. And in continuation to that, the online classes take place twice a week during the weekdays, and the classes take place between 4:30 to 6:30. I think for the ECE, the classes are Tuesdays and Fridays, Neha. For the IE program, it's Monday and Fridays. And for the Teaching Children with Learning Disabilities, the classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we will have access to the recordings as well, right?
Yes, you will. So
All right.
how it is, we have our classes through Zoom, but we also have, and through our LMS system, TriByte, so you will be able to go back for any classes which you missed. You will be able to view the recordings. All the readings and all the other particular assignments and other details, we upload it into our learning management system, Moodle, where you will be able to access all these readings.
All right. And about the interviews?
Yeah, so the interviews, once we close the applications on 31st of March, we
Okay.
would be scheduling the interviews. We have started some of the interview process this week, but
Alright.
most of them will be conducted next week. And then the confirmations are sent out in the second and third week of April.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. I also had some questions to say that on-campus component, yes, it is compulsory. Like we said, if you're doing the whole program, then you will, a whole PG Diploma program, then you will need to come for at least 2 of the on-campus sessions. But if you're doing the standalone certificate program, then the on-campus session, the face-to-face becomes compulsory. The face-to-face sessions will not be only conducted during the summer holidays. So because the face-to-face sessions are conducted for each of the certificate program, it is usually conducted between the 6th to the 10th week of each of the certificate program. We will be providing you with the dates at the beginning of each of the certificate program. And yeah, and then somebody also had asked about the financial, the scholarship. So like I mentioned, we do provide financial assistance on the fee component of the program. So we do not provide financial assistance for travel and the food and the stay. So again, it is on the basis, on a need basis, on the income of the individual. On selection, the admissions team will get in touch with you. They will request for the documents, the financial documents, and on that basis, the team would decide whether we can provide you the assistance. Major Rajesh Ranjit, you had a question?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
So this is of course it's a related kind of a question. Of course, This is I'm talking about schools who are in in rural areas, and the aim of your organization is definitely so is good that you're wanting to bring about social change. And my question is that of course, this your university is in Bangalore, but after these students pass out, of course, we would like to sponsor some of the students from here. We would request for some sponsorship from APU, and also the school can sponsor a bit. And we would like to sponsor some of the educators who can undergo the program, and they can be equipped. But what happens to these teachers after they pass out? I believe you also have a B.Ed kind of a course. So if they can come into smaller areas and serve the local, serve the low income groups, that would be great. So I would like to be connected to the placement officer there or someone, because there's a new school starting up in a small town in Shimoga, and we would like to have educators from there who can come and serve for at least for 2 years. And in the process, the others also get motivated. Local teachers can be motivated, and their knowledge can be passed on to them. And this can really bring about social change in small towns. That's all.
Thank you, Major. What we have Shanta, who is part of this meeting. So I see that in the chat session, you have provided your contact number. So
My phone number I have.
Yeah, your contact number is there. So Shanta will get in touch with you. And then
Yeah,
you can
I can
discuss
also
it how
provide
to
my
take
email
it
ID.
further.
That is comfortable.
Yeah. So
Sure.
he can get in touch, and then you could discuss how to take it further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are looking at APU, we are looking at Teach for India, Kaivalya Foundation, and there is a couple of them who are really doing good work in the field of teacher education. There are people passing out from Firki kind of programs, and the Barefoot Foundation in Bombay. A lot of these organizations are producing good educators, training educators. So if we can have that kind of a connect between their training and also bringing them to places to serve in in places where we don't get such kind of educators, so that will be great.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Abdul has asked whether there will be a reduction of fee if they take 3 certificate programs. So, Abdul, if you take only the certificate programs and not the diploma programs, you will still have to pay the fee of 20,000 each for each of the certificate program. And financial assistance is provided for the whole diploma program and not standalone certificate programs. Soumya, will the PG Diploma program have an equal weightage as of a B.Ed program? So this program is more for working professionals, and we look at it as more professional development programs. But now it has been aligned to the credit structure, which has been defined by the UGC. So what you will be able to do is that, though it is still in process, UGC is aligning its credit system, but the credits, which is a 40 credit, which you have earned from this program, you would be able to apply it as and when UGC is ready with that. So, Sumit, you could say that a learning disability program is a subset of inclusive education. In both the programs, we look at it from the classroom perspective. But yes, we would in the program, in the learning disability program, we get into more detail about how to teach these children with learning disabilities. Yeah, like Madhu said, we would only, in the LD, we would look at only the thing. Admissions have already started, Farah. So if you could go onto our website, you would find the link there. And okay. Okay. Archana, you have mentioned, like I said, that though you have, because you have teaching experience, you can apply for the program, but then the certificate which we would provide you would be for a diploma program and not the PG diploma program, but you can be part of the whole program with us. So Hafsa, even if you have 3 years of teaching experience, you will be able to apply for our program. So what we could do is, if any one of you have any more, if you want more details about which program to choose, whether you would want to go for the program in inclusive education, or would you in particular want to go in for the program for teaching children with learning disabilities, or for the ECE program, what I would request you to do is that, can you please send us a mail on the admissions email ID, which we have shared in the chat. And you could just give us a brief background of your work experience and what is it that you're looking to do, and what is it that you're looking to do further, and where your interest lies. And then we could just have a look and then provide you what program would be the one which would be best suitable. Any other questions? So Sharmishta has shared the email ID in the chat box. So whoever, Sharmishta, could you also share the phone number? Yes, Aradhana?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to know, like, if we take one certificate at a time, within what duration time should one complete all the certificates? I'm referring to the PGLD program. To be eligible for the PG diploma program, like if one doesn't do it at one stretch.
You would have to do it within 2 years.
Within 2 years, okay.
No, but if
And
you
is
are
it-
only, so Aradhana, if you only enroll for each of the certificate program, what we will not be able to do is that, say, if you've done certificate program by certificate program, we would not be able to join it together and just say that, okay, we will be giving you it. You will have the flexibility of converting it after, say, the first or the second certificate to the diploma program, and you can still complete it within 2 years. But if you are only enrolling for each certificate program, then it will be difficult. So you will have to convert your certificate into a diploma program at one point of time.
Yeah. Considering that we've done all the certificate programs that are needed to be done to get the diploma, is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
also, yeah, sorry, yeah, you were saying something.
No, sure. Please continue.
Yeah. So also I wanted to know is it possible? So I have already, but many years ago, I'm already kind of in the field of rehab, and I have done my LD program, but many years ago. So is it is it possible to get a little bit of in-depth understanding of what is the course curriculum for me to understand, like I want more of hands-on, more of by way of assessments. What is it more that I'll be learning? So is it possible to get more details about the course curriculum per se? Because I want to still kind of further my learning in the area of LD.
Okay, so Aradhana, just to be a bit because you said you come from the rehab background, so the program with the on the learning disability is not from a special education perspective, but it is more for classroom teachers to say that how will they work with these children in the general classroom. So, and when we're looking at the screening and the assessment, we're not looking at the psychological assessment where the children are diagnosed, but we're looking at how they can assess these children in the classroom, how they can use some of the screening tools to look at these children in the general classrooms.
Okay.
So it would be more from that perspective and not from a rehab perspective.
Okay, so no, so the thing is, I am a speech therapist and I do a lot of work with children on the autism spectrum. So I'm looking at equipping myself more for remedial work, because a lot of it kind of goes together. So my more better understanding
Yeah, so
in the area of
then it
LD.
would be, because we're looking at it more from the curricular areas, then it would, we would be looking at more in the classroom and the curricular areas and not
Okay,
working
okay,
with children with autism, with the
okay, okay,
therapy. Yeah.
okay. I was looking at more of reading instructions, like the beginning readers is what I was looking at, more like specific techniques and methods.
So that will be covered under one of the certificate program where we talk about teaching children with learning disabilities, where we are looking at how you can specific strategies there in the curricular areas. But like again, I said, it would not be from the rehab perspective. It would be from the
Understand.
class.
Understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, Yeah, so Bandana has asked a question to say that she is a postgraduate teacher with B.Ed and she holds 7 years of experience in teaching. And how can these programs add value to my growth as educator? And please give some clarifications because she joined late. Madhu, would you want to take it? And then I will, from the inclusive education point of view, and then I would add my this for the learning disability.
Sure. Yeah, sorry you joined late. I think the main aspect of this program is that it is a program for ongoing or in-service professional development in a way of speaking. Uh, like each of the programs brings together various teachers, your peers who have similar years of experience, who may have different dilemmas about their own practice. So it's very much tied to your practice. So it's highly practical in that nature. It gives you the opportunity to not just engage in theory and what the evidence says, but also you gain a lot of peer mentorship through various people who join from across the country. So I would say the main strength of the program is that it brings together various educators such as yourself with varying degrees of experience. We've had people with more than 25 years of experience to 2 years of experience. So it is really an eclectic group of people. So I would say that it really depends what your focus is and in what aspect you want to grow. Your question is fairly broad, so I don't think there's any particular way I can answer it. But that's what I would say within a minute.
Thank you, Madhu. So yeah, Pandana, to add to what Madhu said, yes, we have our faculty who also are who come with like 30 years, 40 years of experience and in the program for our inclusive education, like Madhu said, we work with Umeed who actually go to different schools and apply. So they have a lot of experience on the inclusive education part. So, and again, a lot of peer learning from their experiences. And we also touch upon frameworks like UDL and DI, which could be used in your classroom. So it would also be more, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so it would be also looking at the child in a more holistic manner. And like Madhu said, we really do not know if you're looking at it from a subject perspective or from a child perspective. So yeah, again, if you have something more to add to that, you could add or you could mail us. Okay, thanks, Madhu.
Just to add to what Sudha and Madhu said, so I can talk specific to ECE. So we also look at how, for instance, policies, how this early childhood education as a notion has evolved with NAP. What are the different kind of, evolving pedagogy that we use in a classroom? How is it different from teaching, a child 10 years, how teaching used to happen 10 years ago in an ECE classroom vis-a-vis what is the need for the hour. So how has it evolved, both the notion and, the idea of how should a curriculum be like, and how should children be learning in this 21st century. So all of that also sort of adds in a lot of value as to how you can make this transition or shift in your way of teaching and learning processes in the classroom. So that is also one way to look at it. Yeah.
Thank you, Neha. Do we have any other questions? Okay, so what we would do is that if you have any further questions, like I mentioned before, you can please write to our admissions team and they will pass it on to us. And the last date for the application form for this certificate program closes on the 31st of March. So please do give us time. If you are sending in a mail, we would require a day or two to get back to you. So I request you that any questions you have, please send it today or tomorrow so that we have enough time to get back to you before the last date. Sharmishta, should we close the session now?
Yes, I think we don't have any more questions and we can end the session here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all. It was wonderful speaking to everybody.
Thank you so much.